Did you know that by being an energy hoarder, you could actually make yourself be in higher demand? I had never really thought about it like that, but today we get the opportunity, man, to talk to Michelle Loretta of B Sage Consulting all about balancing time off with time in, creating your own demand, and the all important holy grail of entrepreneurship, a good cash flow plan. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. This is the place where you and your fellow empire-building entrepreneurs come to vanquish the burnout monster and boost your glow and cash flow with energy alignment techniques and tried and true marketing strategies. Since 7 figures won't get itself, hit that subscribe button and never miss out on your chance to skyrocket profits, tap into your intuition, and manifest your dreams. And now, your host, Powerhouse Story Brand Certified Guide, award-winning marketer, bioenergetic business coach, and Japanese whiskey lover, Alea Harris.
Today's mantra is I protect my energy to create more abundance, because often we do the opposite. We sit and we say, I'm going to burn my energy to create more abundance. I'm going to power through my willpower until it is exhausted and I am exhausted. I'm going to dance with the burnout monster. In fact, I'm going to make them dinner. We're going to cuddle up because that's the only way I'm going to be successful. Instead of saying, I protect my energy to create more abundance. You are not a machine. You cannot just power through and think money will come to you like manna from heaven. That is not how this works. Breaks are necessary. Rest is a productivity tool. So you need to be able to move through your entrepreneur journey, proactively planning times to rest and making sure that your business structure and your cash flow are set up to support you during those times of rest. If you're having a baby soon, you're adopting soon, even if you're adopting a puppy, you're gonna need some time off. Are you thinking 6 months in advance, a year, 2 years in advance about when you're gonna do that and how you're going to plan that out so that you can get those times of rest? Are you giving yourself CEO days where you're taking a step back from the weeds of your business? Yes, you're working on your business, but you're doing it from a higher strategic level. Or are you so deeply ingrained in your business that you cannot even see what the heck you're doing or why you're doing it? So today's mantra is something to repeat to yourself, but it's also something to live and breathe on a daily basis. I protect my energy to create abundance. I protect my energy to create abundance. Say it with me. I protect my energy to create abundance. I protect my energy to create abundance. One of my favorite things to recalibrate to protect my energy is to just straight up take a nap. And maybe you're a napper, maybe you're not, but the rest and the break can be combined with pretty much any other concept. If you're not a napper, then what are you doing during the middle of the day to rest and reset? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to take a walk? Are you going to play with your puppy? Are you going to go and cook or have some type of creative outlet? What are you doing to give your brain and your body the rest that it needs so that you can build a thriving empire? Because willpower alone is not only not going to get you there, but trying to build a business on willpower alone will make it so that your business doesn't last that long. You will not be able to leave a lasting legacy of abundance. Most businesses fizzle out in the first couple of years. Are you putting the structures in place now to build a business that will last for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, a business that you can sell, a business that you can pass on to your children? More importantly, are you putting together the boundaries and frameworks for your life that you can pass that on to your children, that you can be an example to other people and business owners of how to enjoy the entrepreneurial journey and set yourself up for success? Again, remember to protect your energy to create abundance. Without further ado, we are now going to dive into talking to Michelle Loretta from B-Sage Consulting about just that. Michelle Loretta is a strategist in the events industry and the creator of B-Sage Consulting. She is an educator, a coach, a consultant, and a professional, and she's been doing all of this since 2009. She has a degree in accounting, so she knows her numbers, and she is the person that I personally trust with my financial strategy. I have started my company, and I started my company in the wedding catering and events industry as a marketer, but now I service a broad variety of industries. But I still go back to Michelle Loretta to make sure that I have my financial poop in a group. All right, let's dive in and talk to Michelle. Hey there, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast.
Thank you for having me, Alea. I'm excited to chat with you today.
I'm excited to chat with you for a number of reasons. One of them, however, not gonna lie, is because you're already like a mini celebrity on this podcast. By the time your podcast episode releases, there's at least 2 or 3 other podcast
Oh, no
episodes
way. How
that have been
fun.
there's just singing your praises. So you are a celebrity because you are helping us as business owners, get more money, keep more money, figure out where our money is. So in general, you're a celebrity in my world because you're helping me do the same. So I appreciate.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it. I don't need to be a celebrity to love it. I just love it because, that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely, because that's what we're all doing this for. Otherwise, you just have a really cute hobby. Like you
Yes.
might as well scrapbook or something if you're
Yes.
not like making money and doing.
Exactly. And not work 90 hours at scrapbooking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Well, let's just kind of dig into the area of you and then into our questions. So, before we get into our questions, why don't you tell the people who maybe haven't listened to your celeb status so far on this podcast? Tell them who you are and the problem you solve out there in the world for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I'm Michelle Loretta. I'm the owner of B Sage Consulting, and we solve business problems, specifically focused on financial strategy. So, learning how to make more money in your business.
Yeah, and keep more money. That's my
Keep
thing.
more money. Yeah, because a lot of times people make a lot of money. They're not pocketing it, right? It's going out before they're able to put it in their pockets.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
a sieve with really big
completely.
holes in it.
Yes,
Yeah,
completely.
absolutely. I mean, and that's really key, but one of the things that I've experienced because, I mean, full transparency, that's me. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we're gonna build, we're gonna grow. Yeah, 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 spend the money, we need to invest it." And yeah, we make lots of good money. I appreciate the money that we make. Thank you to all of the Flourish Marketing clients out there. However, it is exhausting. Freaking exhausting to be making all of the money and not feeling like you are making the money.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's led me to burnout before. I
Yes,
mean,
completely.
have you seen that with your other clients?
I've seen that with my clients. I've experienced that personally, in my stationery business years ago, almost 20 years now when I had a stationery business. It took a while to feel like I was, earning something out of that business. And, the first couple years you can kind of get by maybe a little bit, but after a while it's like, man, this is a lot of work to not be earning what I'd like.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then resentment starts coming in,
Resentment
right?
starts coming in and frustration, and then you kind of start doubting yourself like, well, and what am I doing wrong? I should be earning more. Where, it's a lot more complicated than you're not selling the right things, or selling in the right way. There's a lot that goes into being financially successful.
Absolutely. So part of that financial success is the willpower to just straight up keep going. And so you mentioned like in your stationery business, you danced with the burnout monster a little bit there. So
Mhm.
what tools do you use to avoid that now and stay in alignment both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I think I'm an energy hoarder, so I like to I don't want to expend too much energy in areas that are exhausting to me. And being more introverted in nature, that tends to be how many consulting calls I have every single day, right? And I've learned that if I have 3 or 4 calls in a day, I'm exhausted. And what ends up happening is time after time, I'm not giving the best face to my clients, after, a good couple weeks of back to back to back, Zooms all the time, right? And so I've learned to hoard my energy, so where I don't take calls every single day of the week. I'm also very good about turning my computer, my work off at ideally 5 p.m. every day. I don't work weekends. Now, I'm going to be real here. Like, every business owner has times where they need to work late nights, where they need to work weekends. That's the reality. But as a rule, I try to stick to those rules. Computer off at 5 o'clock, weekends are sacred, no computer comes on at all. And then really identifying, like, how much time am I giving face to face with people? I may be servicing them still, working on, their jobs, but I may not be on client calls all day interacting. So I really have to pay attention to how much time I'm spending in those face to face interactions in order to save my energy for the work I need to do and the work I need to do internally in my business too.
That's so true. I mean, I experience that a lot. I have not gotten to the Michelle Loretta status. I have meetings, way too many meetings on a daily
Mhm.
basis. My business coach looked at my calendar and let out an audible scream and said, "This is the first thing that we need to fix."
But hold on here. Are you extroverted? Because you may get energy
Yes.
from those conversations.
I am, according to my husband, an ambivert because, he sees all
Yes.
of it. So if
Yes.
I had to categorize myself before he, like, put a mirror up in my face, I would have said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm an extrovert. I love it,
Uh-huh.
love it, love it."
Yeah.
But then he goes, "Yeah, but when I'm going out on the weekends, you're, like, Netflix and chilling by your damn self." Like,
Yes.
and I'm like, "Yeah, I
Yes.
need that time." So there
Yes.
is a little bit of a
To a
balance
certain
there.
point. Yeah, it's like maybe you
Yeah.
wanna talk to a few people a day, but maybe not 10.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed, so also because of my business coach, every coach should have a coach, by the way. I have a business coach, I have a spiritual coach, I coach other people, but if I'm not working on myself, don't let me work on you. So another thing my business coach said is like, okay, do one thing a day or have a time set aside for the one thing that you need to do every day to make your day, your week, your month, your year successful. I just started blocking out this time on my calendar.
So good.
One of the things I noticed though is because I had been running and not hoarding my energy, like you said, for so long. I I removed all distractions. I closed all of the windows that I wasn't using, all of that. And I still found myself reaching for my phone. Did it ring? Did it buzz? No.
Yes.
But I couldn't I mean, not couldn't, it's kind of like an active meditation, bringing my focus back to the creative parts rather than all of the people I need to talk to and all of the things I need to do. So, I actually think, like, that willpower that I've had that's been burned out and is now like, "Okay, I'm gonna let you rest," I don't know how to turn it off. So, I love what you said about hoarding your energy. That's what I'm trying to get to, extrovert or introvert or not. I need to be like Gollum with this energy, "My pretty,"
Yeah.
like, that's what I need to do.
It's challenging though. Sometimes you're at the mercy of other things, right? So you and I were both at a conference last week, and you were at a conference the week before. So you had 2 weeks of travel. I find that energy hoarding really difficult to do when I have a lot of travel in a month, because what ends up happening is A, you're exerting a lot of energy while you're at the conferences and while you're traveling. So there's that whole like 2-week window where you're giving out so much and you don't have enough downtime between the travel. And then the thing is, when you get back, you have so much work to catch up on that you've got to squeeze in all of these client calls and maybe networking events and all of the things that normally would take place in 4 weeks are now happening in 2 weeks. Exactly. And so that's a whole lot of energy, like the energy that you would normally exert in 4 weeks on clients and networking and vendor relationships or anything like that are now all of a sudden crunched. And so all that energy is happening in such a short time period. That's exhausting, and that is how people burn out.
Yeah, not gonna lie. I mean, we talk about burnout here, but I guess I wanna, like, make sure that people know, like, we talk about burnout not because I have reached this epitome of I'm now never gonna be burnt out and I now know the
No.
burnout monster? Hell no. This week is rough, girl.
It's a
We
constant we're constantly taming the monster. I've been in
Yeah.
business for myself 16 years, and I'm constantly taming the monster. Yes.
I think that's really great to hear from a veteran who makes people money, keeps the money, has experience themselves. Is that it's not necessarily we're trying to arrive and we're standing on top of the monster with our sword in our hands. It's this dance that we're doing, and we are just trying to get distance from it and setting boundaries to make it more manageable, I
Yes.
guess. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Okay. Okay, now I wanna get into the nitty-gritty, the meat of it, all of that money, 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 money talk. So, let's say, hypothetically, we put the burnout monster at bay, or for me, which is my story when I came to Michelle, I was like, "The burnout monster is actually sitting here with us on this Zoom call, and I need you and your money magic to help make sure that that little witch gets off of my back."
Yes.
So, if somebody is coming to you in either case, what are 3 pro tips that you can give them from your area of business consulting and money management to help them actually grow an empire and business that they love and enjoy the experience while they're doing it?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, going back to that burnout question, if you are feeling really taxed out and how much you are working, one of the first things you need to be looking at is how many people, how many clients you're taking on every single year. A lot of times in my industry, I know you work with people in all different industries, but in the events industry, burnout often comes because people are doing too many events in a year. They're servicing too many clients. And so when I'm working with, like, for example, a wedding planner or a wedding designer who is working 40 events a year, my first question is, why is your pricing so low that you would be getting, needing 40 clients a year to be executing those events? So burnout a lot of times is a reflection of somebody's price being too low. They need, in order to be profitable, they need to service so many clients, and that just puts you on a treadmill, especially if you're a service provider. You're just on like a treadmill of having to service all of these people.
That's exactly what was happening to me.
Yeah.
Like, I literally we're recording this, BT dubs for everybody, November 18th, 2021.
Austerity.
Exactly. And December 1st, I'm raising my price for my
Yes.
strategy session. I'm doubling it 2 and a half times.
So good.
And it's, like, emotionally taxing because 'cause I'm like, "Am I worth that?" Then you start getting into worthiness issues. I've been doing my own energy work around it because 'cause I'm like, "I need to raise it and feel like I am deserving it and blah, 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 blah." But I raised it because I'm serving too many clients.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm like, "No wonder why you're burnt out, girl." Like, there's too many people coming in, and then you're giving the quality, but think about how much more in-depth you could get
Yes.
with each and every client if you just
Yes.
raise your prices.
Absolutely. And service-based businesses, that's everything, right? So let's say you service, I mean, and this can be applicable for any industry. You're servicing 40 clients in a year and you feel like you're overworked, then you need to be thinking about, okay, well, what does that need to look like if I'm servicing 30 clients a year or 20, right? Sometimes you have to do gradual steps to kind of get there. So that's one of the big things to look at is look at your pricing, look at how you're marketing yourself. That you can't always just raise your prices. Oftentimes in our industry, you can't just double your event service price overnight. You have to rethink who's the market for that and think about how you're going to be selling to that market because it's like chances are it's a totally different market. So I'd
Yeah,
say
that
the
I mean,
second,
I guess I probably should mention that part too. So, I'm
yes,
not just doubling it.
yeah,
So, we
yeah,
we one of the things that I was actually going under, so again, back to my business coach. My business coach is also another StoryBrand certified guy, and she actually wanted me to, let's see, it would have been 3 and a half times the amount because that's what she charges, and then she's like, "And so and so charges that, and so and so and so and so charges that." You are grossly underpricing. So
yes,
that's why it wasn't like, oh, I need to do all of these other things to raise my price, I'm grossly undercharging
Yes.
already. So
Yes.
that could have been solved by me by doing a little bit more market research in
Uh-huh.
advance.
Yeah. Yeah, and it could be too that you priced your services to work with a certain niche of business owner that quote unquote that's what they could afford because of how much maybe their business earns, right? So what that might say is, okay, well that little niche is maybe not the greatest, you know, business for you to be servicing. Maybe you need to go to businesses that have, instead of 200,000 in revenue a year, you need to be working with small businesses that make at least $1 million in revenue a year, right? So that'll inform your marketing decisions now because you've been attracting the $200,000 business owner or whatever. I'm making these numbers up because I don't know, but now you need to be thinking, well, where would the $1 million business owner be shopping for these kinds of services? And are there specific businesses that tend to, make at least this much in revenue?
Yeah, I love that, especially because when you're starting to have those conversations, you're connecting marketing and money. And often people are like, marketing is my Instagram post and money is my QuickBooks. I'm like, first of all, both of them are deeper than that.
Yes. Money is just a reflection of everything else happening in your business. It's a backbone, but behind every number there's another decision, right? So a number doesn't exist by itself on a spreadsheet. So if you have $1 million sales goal, I'm going to ask you, what's your marketing plan? How are you going to get there? How are these customers going to find you to eventually add up to $1 million? And same thing with expenses. It's like, well, what are the operational decisions behind your expenses? Talk to me about your staffing. So it's like, yeah, we can talk about numbers, but all of those numbers mean something else entirely.
Absolutely. Okay, so you've told us, so we're gonna look at how many clients we're taking each
Yeah,
year. Is our price too low?
yeah.
How are we profitable? Do we need to raise the price? What are some other tips that we should be thinking about from your area of expertise that can help us just be better business owners?
Yeah, I would say, okay, not just the pricing, but know the entire picture, your entire financial picture. And I think, what happens is people kind of go through stages in terms of their comfort, in terms of their financial strategy in their business. Initially, you're just trying to like make some pocket money, and maybe it's a supplement to your day job, and you're really super stoked and excited about it. And then at about year two, you're like, okay, well now I really want to kind of figure out what's happening with my money, and you start tracking it. And so you start using something like QuickBooks, right? So that's like stage two, is when you start recording your history. Stage three is where you can really start to make changes in your business. And that's where you want to be thinking about creating a financial plan, creating those sales forecasts, that expense budget. And those are not tracking your history, those are really using the history, using data to, try to create a plan looking forward, right? And so businesses that are able to do that are able to really like move their business in the direction that they want to, because now they have a tool that helps them see the potential in their business, and it helps you move and adjust and adapt depending on your needs. So for example, let's say that you want to expand your business into another market. Without that financial plan, you might be holding back a little bit. You may take on that risk without really kind of knowing if it's a viable business model too. And so with that financial plan, you're just able to make informed decisions and not walk around blindly anymore, which really helps you scale a business at the end of the day. Because otherwise we're just going to continue, status quo. I'm making what I think I can, and that's that. But if you're able to really kind of create a financial strategy, that's a total game changer in scaling your business.
I love that you said that, especially because in the 3 kind of stages that you mentioned, in the first 2-ish,
Yeah.
you're, like, moving through on willpower, like, your
Hmm.
head's down, like, "I'm just gonna make this money, get the clients, make the money, get the clients, make the money, get the" and that can only last for so long,
Yes.
right? And then when you start planning and, like, you lift your head up and you look out, you're like, "Oh, One, let me make this commitment to myself that I'm actually gonna be doing this business for a longer period of time.
Yes.
This is not a hobby, this is an actual business, and I'm taking accountability for my business and my legacy. That
Yes.
means that decision, that mental shift has to happen before you're like, "Let me create a 12-month cash flow plan,"
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you're like, "Oh, maybe there's a different way," as opposed to working so hard, working so hard, working so hard, and not really knowing how hard I have to work. Then you do that plan, you're like, "Actually, I really if I price myself at this, I really only need 20 clients a year," or
Yes.
whatever it is.
100%.
And then you start working smarter instead of harder, and that's when I think you start to actually really enjoy the entrepreneurial journey. You're not living on the adrenaline, then the adrenaline wears out and you're a soup puddle on the floor. You're living that quote unquote Instagram CEO lifestyle where you're like taking breaks when you want to. You're spending more time with your children, things like that.
Yeah,
Little things
yeah,
like that.
absolutely. Well, you're not making decisions, blindly. You're not making decisions out of fear or out of, like, just trying to survive. You're really able to make decisions with clarity, which is a huge game changer to a business owner.
Oh my gosh, clarity is key for pretty much
Mhm.
everything, for
Everything.
sure. Everything. You need to know
Yeah,
what the heck you're doing, and I appreciate that about what you do, Michelle, because that's basically what you do. You're a clarity monger.
yeah.
You're like
I'm an energy hoarder and a clarity
and a
monger.
clarity monger. I mean, that's and you were like, "This is your business in black and white. Do you like this picture or should we change it?"
Yes, exactly.
As opposed to being like, "Oh, I feel like this, I feel like this." Okay, you're like, "Well, business credit isn't built on feelings and neither is cash flow. So, let's have a conversation that goes a little deeper."
100%, yep, 100%.
So, in these periods of growth, you've gone through and seen many, many, many business owners do this, and you've done this as well. So, when you're in the stage 1 or the stage 2 or you're thinking about going into stage 3 where you're looking up and out, there's a lot of energy in there that's expended. So how do you suggest that people celebrate, protect, and manage their energy, or how have you done this for yourself in the past?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, for me, it's I have to have time off, and it starts with, weekends, we talked about that. But trying to identify something that's been really helpful for me in the last few years is identify, the patterns of my clients' needs, right? And so in certain industries, that's identified as like a busy season, right? So if your clients have a busy season, your tax accountant, it's going to be April and September, right? If you're a wedding professional, it's going to be summertime for the most part. But really trying to like make use of the slow times. So I've been meticulous about slow season for me because I'm a business provider for event professionals, tends to be, June, July, and August. And so that's when I try to take time off, and I'll often take extended time off where it's, 3 to 4 weeks you cannot talk to me. I don't do that every year. That's impossible. Some people would call this a sabbatical, right? But those time breaks, and even if it can just be 2 weeks off, listen, as business owners, a lot of business owners aren't even taking 2 weeks off these days, uninterrupted. So whatever it is, whatever that's is manageable for you to do, those times off where you are really off your email, because email is a gateway drug. At least for me, it is. Like if I
Oh my
open up
god,
the
that's
email.
hilarious. It's hilarious because it's true.
Yes. I know, because don't even kid me like, "Oh, I've told all my clients I'm gonna be away. I'm just gonna check the emails." You are so lying to yourself because that is such a gateway drug to all of a sudden opening up your projects and doing all the things for everybody. You're there to solve problems if you're in your inbox. So forget about it. Don't even kid yourself. If you're gonna take a weekend or a break, you need to shut off your email. So, yeah, you need to have those times of uninterrupted blocks, and that's been the key for me. That's been the biggest, lesson over time is to take those times where I'm literally everything is off.
I love that. So, my a sub question is though, 2 weeks off, if you work for somebody else and you have your vacation time, 2 weeks off is no big deal, right?
Right.
It's like you're like,
You're still
"Bye."
getting paid, right? But if
You're
this is
still
the
getting paid.
challenge, when you're not, when you're working for you got to sell, you're constantly selling. What do you do in those 2 to 4 weeks off? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I do. Well, first of all, I make sure that the other 11 months of the year, I'm bringing enough income so that taking a month off is not, I'm still able to pay myself, right? So I have my salary built into that. So that's number one. Number two is I prepare my clients that I currently have, and they know that they're going to be on pause for whatever month. This I did this last summer, and they were on pause from mid July through mid August. Okay, and then anybody that's new that's coming in, I let them know, like, I have a September 1st start date. So the interesting thing is that, like, by doing that, I'm kind of creating a demand because there's a bit of a wait list for people to start working with me when I get off of that break. And so the amazing thing is the I've done this about 3 times in my, I'm going to say, in the last 10 years of my business, I've done this 3 times. And so every 3 years, I take about 4 weeks off. Okay. I take vacations in the summer too, like, but smaller things, right? These are bigger chunks. What I would
Like,
call
this is like a sabbatical that
a
you were talking
sabbatical
about.
where I'm taking like at least 4 weeks off. So this is the strange thing, is like each one of those 3 years, I had some of my best years. Because those you're kind of creating this demand in the time that you're off, like, well, I can't work with you at that time, and you almost kind of have like a waiting list for when you get back. And depending on your business, you can create a waiting list on your website. You can have it automated in your email that when people want to sign up, they got to sign up to get started with you September 1st here. Depending on the services that you offer or the products that you offer, you can set those systems up so that you hit the ground running. And here's the other thing: it's not just that in that time off I was able to kind of like create that demand to make up anything that I may have lost in a month off. It's also the fact that I come back a lot more energized and rested. So I'm ready to sell my ass off when I get back versus going an entire year, without taking breaks or anything like that. You're not your most effective, right? Like, your body has to rest, my mind has to rest, my energy levels have to rest in order for me to be more effective. You come back with more creativity because you haven't been trying to solve the problems of your own business all the time. Clarity, you have more clarity when you come back.
Clarity. See, told you, clarity monger. Um, I love that. You're actually the second person in a very short period of time that has talked about the wait list concept and how actually the wait list
Yeah.
increases your demand and increases your ability.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
And I'm like,
I made it
"Huh."
I made it up for myself, for my maternity leave, 10 years ago. Because my first child, I did not take a maternity leave, and it was awful. And then the second one, I'm like, "I'm taking a leave," and I took 2 months off, and it was amazing. But I created a wait list for him. That was 10 years ago, and it was great because I came back and I had 3 clients ready to work with me. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'm getting convinced. It's a scary thing because you're basically saying, "No." It's a little bit
No, it's not no,
counterintuitive.
it's not now.
"Not now, not now." Which I'm like, "But I want the money now." "No, not now." So then
Here's the thing, if you really wanna work with me, you'll wait for me, and what's a month? Nothing. Nothing, in the grand
no, a
scheme
month
of
is
life, it's
nothing.
nothing.
It's nothing. Oh, I'm getting convinced slowly but surely. If you see a wait list on my website, you'll know that you had something to do with it.
Good, good.
Because mama needs a vacation.
Well, listen, okay, we know the date. Today is November 18th. The holidays are right around the corner. You can do one for, those 2 weeks off before, between Christmas and New Year's. You can do it, or Hanukkah, New Year, whatever you celebrate, you can do
Yeah.
it. I'm
Okay,
taking
start
2 weeks
small,
off
2
for the
weeks.
holidays.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, I'm taking the time off, but I'm like, "How am I gonna do this? And then what am I gonna come back to?"
No email. No email.
No email, no email, but a wait list. Okay, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm writing it down.
Good.
Wait list over the holidays. Dun dun dun. Okay. Okay. We've talked about so many things. I think it's probably just best to get into this journal prompt question. And for everyone that is listening out there on the audio radio waves, I don't even know if it's still radio waves, if it comes like through, I don't know what it is.
Something digital.
But for everyone that is listening out there, this is the journal prompt question that you could and should take back to your own journal and write your answers. And then Michelle is going to kick it off and give you some inspiration to help kind of fuel your own journaling time. So, Michelle, are you ready for the journal prompt question?
I sure am.
Okay, awesome. It is. What are the things that you need to do consistently or that you would recommend others do consistently to reach goals? And what is coming up in the next 6 months that may stand in the way? You, Michelle, could say, what is coming up in the next 6 months for you that is standing in the way? Or what are common problems that stand in the way of entrepreneurs that they don't factor into account when they're trying to consistently move forward to reach their goals?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's creating that cash flow plan. I like to make it for the next 2 years, to be quite honest, and getting back to that idea of clarity, right? So, what's holding us back in business when we are scared of taking risks? When you really sit down and think about it, it's like, what do we fear? Well, we fear a lot of things, but one of the big things we fear is like losing a lot of money on an investment in our business, not making enough money, just kind of chugging along. There's other like social fears that we may also have, but a big one is financial. And so we may not choose to invest in new staff person or invest in some sort of software that's going to help us in our business, because we can't really see how that would benefit us. But if you have a plan, and I like to create cash flow plans for people, um, if you have that plan in place, you have that clarity to make that decision. And you can look 6 months down the line. Okay, if I'm going to invest in this staff person and that salary is going to cost me $60,000 because I need that person to help me sell, or I need that person to help me service clients so that I can price higher. If I'm able to make those links, I should end up the year with X amount of dollars based on these investments and these decisions. But a lot of business owners aren't taking that step to do that. And they don't have that vision over the next 6 months. And so they're sitting there kind of like a deer in headlights, afraid to move forward because they don't really know what's ahead for them. And so, if you're really looking to achieve your goals, you need to think of quantifying your goals, right? So, it's not just about writing your goals on paper. That is incredibly useful. Like 110%, everybody should write their goals, revisit them every day, and move the path forward a little by little. But try to attach some numbers to some of those things that you have in place so that you can start having more comfort in some of the risks that you take in your business.
I love that. And cash flow planning is like, I remember when I first downloaded your cash flow plan sheet, I was like, it's a whole new world. I was like, oh my God, this is going to make such a difference. And I know on your website that people can sign up to get their business, a quick and easy business plan. Do you still have somewhere on your
I
site where they can
I
get the cash
do,
flow
I
plan?
do, and by the time this airs, it'll be back on my homepage. So there,
Okay,
yes,
awesome.
yes, yes. I toggle that back and forth, but it'll be back in there because this is cash flow planning time of year.
Cash flow planning time of year. So if you want your free cash flow planning template, then you can go to bsageconsulting.com. I think if you have never done cash flow planning, it's a little bit like, oh crap, this is like a lot. But then you're like, oh my gosh, I'll actually be able to get out of this feast and famine cycle. I might be able to raise my prices. I might be able to work less. I might
Yes.
be able to take a vacation. I might be able to set a wait list. All of those things start with this magical, glorious document called a cash flow plan.
I love it. You're gonna turn it into a musical.
Of course.
Free cash flow
There's going to be
plan, the
jazz hands
musical.
involved. That's how I feel about it. I'm telling you, like, there are certain things when you're an entrepreneur, certain things are sexy. Like, you like, "Okay, I'm gonna do my brand and my logo." That's cute and all. That's about as money-making as the lipstick I'm wearing right now. A cash flow plan is real sex, man.
Yes,
That's like
it
not a
really is.
one-night stand fling. This is like that
This is not
heart-centered,
yeah, it's not
like,
teenage sex.
long-term
Yeah.
relationship. That's what the cash flow plan is.
Totally.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Michelle, I've already said your website. People can find you at bsageconsulting.com. Where else can people find you should they want to get some of your Michelle Loretta money goodness?
Yes, well, you can find me on Instagram also. I am Besage, Besage, always. And yeah, come get your free cash flow plan. And if you need additional services, I'm happy to help out however you need.
Wonderful. And may I just say, am taking advantage of said additional services. And Michelle asks the best questions, the questions you are afraid to ask yourself or don't even know to ask yourself, and allows you to dive into your business in a way that makes you feel like a legit business owner. I don't know how else to say it. Doesn't matter. Like we make lovely revenues, right? I'm very proud of the revenues that
Yeah,
we
you
make.
should be.
However, do I feel like a legit business owner? Not all the time. After talking with Michelle, do I feel like a legit business
Oh
owner? Yes, I do. So, thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us. I don't
Oh,
know if you can hear this horrible honking in the background, but hopefully it's not covering up my gratitude. And I will talk to you soon, and we'll dive more deeply into my cash flow plan.
yes. Thank you, Alea. It was really fun talking with you today.
Bye for now.
This episode is brought to you by Strategy by Flourish Marketing. Most entrepreneurs are too close to their business to clearly communicate how they add value and stand out from the competition. Sometimes they even struggle to say what they do and offer. If you're confused, then your potential clients are confused, and confusion is a profit killer. That's why Flourish Marketing uses StoryBrand as the foundation for our products and services. The StoryBrand framework helps companies understand what their customers are looking for and how to position themselves to get those customers to pay attention. If you'd like help creating clear brand messaging for your marketing collateral, head to www.flourishmarketing.co/strategy and schedule a call today. You have only confusion to lose and money to gain. Visit www.flourishmarketing.co/strategy to get started.
Wow. Okay. I guess I better get started on my wait list now to make sure I actually do have a happy holiday season. And I'm going to start planning how I can be an energy hoarder and a clarity monger for myself and my clients. I loved how Michelle also said that if you're going to protect your energy, be careful of email, which is that gateway drug. If you're going to plan to take time off, also make sure that your cash flow is in order and that you have a cash flow plan. So many great nuggets of wisdom. If you are looking to reach Michelle, again, she is located at bsageconsulting.com. And if you're looking to help align your energy with that lovely financial advice, make sure you go to flourishmarketing.co/recalibrate to align your chakras, your abundance keys with your business strategy and your cash flow plan. All of it, again, works together to build a flourishing empire. All right, until next time, next Wednesday, my name is Alea Harris. This is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast, and I wish you lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Dive into the show notes at www.flourishmarketing.co/podcast and connect with Alea at Flourishing Entrepreneur on Instagram. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. From the entire Flourish Marketing team, we wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.